Hi guys, Jake and MJ back again for more live reactions to Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. Chomp chomp. Alright, we're back again.
I almost forgot that I needed both hands, so I was sitting here like this, and I was like, oh wait. Suddenly I'm throwing my phone in my lap.
This is looking to be our last week of doing dual reactions, since I believe we will be likely facing the mid-season finale of Beast Morphers this week, after which we'll be down to just these weekly, and we won't be doing our live streams for a little while, which works with your schedule change. But yeah, we're getting into sort of summertime, even though it's only just now really spring.
Yeah, well, it's warm enough that I ditched my hoodie.
Oh yeah, it was in the 70s today. It was very warm.
It was nice. I had the windows open.
But yeah, we're nearing the end for Beast Morphers and the end of my semester. Tomorrow is my my last assignment will be due. So hopefully by the time this comes out tomorrow, I will hopefully be done with my last assignment, and that would be the last of my courses. I'll still have a year's worth of supervised teaching. They're called mentored teaching is the name of the course. So I'm not sure how much coursework will be associated with that versus just guidance through my first year my third year of teaching, to get my certification. But yeah, that'll be it for these classes. So I'm very much looking forward to having that cognitive load gone.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to that, where I can just be focused on just day-to-day stuff and getting through all the power review stuff that I have to do. And I can actually, instead of always thinking about what it is I need to be doing for class, instead be focusing on getting those scripts done for the final run of power reviews. So hopefully I can get the last handful of scripts done over this next couple months, next month or two, so that I can finish filming them over the following month or two. Fingers crossed all around.
And then it'll just be a matter of editing.
And then it's just going to be a whole lot of editing for a very long time.
But if we get this done correctly, you'll never again have to hear, I'm waiting on actors.
Yeah, that is the idea. I do not want that to be an issue any further, because we're all looking at like kids all around. It's all availabilities is disappearing.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the old enough to retire people.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of which, even and I know at least one person who's looking at retirement and thinking of traveling. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that came up during conversation.
All right.
During the last filming session, so I need to get on filming with those people.
Yes. I assume you mean Marty.
No.
Really?
No, I believe he's already retired. No, I believe Betsy's looking at retirement.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought she still had a couple teenagers at home.
Evens up.
Cool.
Don't quote me on any of that, though. That's me trying to remember from 2 months ago or something. But I do need to get filming going on a number of points, especially now that I am finishing my semester.
Yep.
And don't have a summer semester this year, which is great. So, with all that said, let's dive on into episode 6 of Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger, Counterattack, Tankjo. And get those lyrics ready, because you know they dive right in. And magical sound. Kaboom!
Which is interestingly not in my lyrics.
Yeah. Morita kono
世界だけでさえないと君かんだらその道を行けよ正しきエンブル勇者の証さあそる人たちにどんな時でも逃げないダイナマキつくて大地を鳴らせ鋼の力キラで光るソド地下でバトルの夢は一人で見る肩の議会などどかでこえてと正義につか闇を立てKishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger.
Getting better.
I had to drop out at one point, but that's because I'm no longer willing to mumble through the parts I don't get.
There are a few that you were speeding through, and I'm just like, I'm not finding the pacing. A little flashback to getting bitten by that Russian nesting dog. Oh no! His hand hit the floor! That means death. Except not really. Because it's a fake out.
I thought he's just in a lawn chair.
Yep. Why are you smiling?
Because they just said he's only unconscious.
Oh, okay.
They thought he was dead.
Oh, okay. I think I missed the word only.
Yeah, we already blew him up, didn't we?
Whoops. Huh. That's unusual that it's persevering past the mind sword. Clouds. Okay. Oh, okay. What is happening? Why?
Is Kirion starting their own YouTube channel?
I guess so. Oh, that's interesting. He's got a little mirror there for lighting. What is happening here? Kirion wants to be a YouTube star. Oh, what? How did you find him? Oh, is this going to be a deal so that he's allowed to survive moving forward? Whoa, what's happening? Oh, he's getting woozy. Oh, that's not good.
Right, this is contagious.
Yeah, that's what the trailer said. That's right. Oh, this isn't good. Oh, yeah, there she goes. This isn't good. This is a bad. Oh, Yui. Oh dear. Wait, what? Wait, energy's still flowing out of her. The Mind Storm must still be around somewhere.
Maybe the poison can revive the Minosaur.
It's just very strange. So the Minosaur wasn't destroyed. Oh! Oh, that's an idea. Oh, that's interesting. There can be Minosaur twins.
Either there can be Minosaur twins, or he's trying to save the other guy's pride.
Well, even so.
He doesn't want to have an argument with him. He's just like, look, either it's still alive or it's got a twin. Either way, we're going.
Yeah. But twin monsters is an interesting idea. You don't get to laugh. That was great. Oh, Tankjo.
Is Kishiryu going to start breaking the fourth wall on the regular now?
I guess so. You gotta find that other Minosaur. Yep, there's the other one. Yep, little brother got beat. Okay. Interesting.
So he doesn't.
I wonder if there's another puppy. We saw the one puppy before. I wonder if there's a second puppy. I find it interesting that, despite the different Ryusouls, all of the Ryusoul changers, what they're called, are identical. They're all red. All the morphers are red. Which I find kind of interesting.
Names like Melto and Bamba, I keep getting confused.
Yeah.
They don't sound like they should be the names of Japanese people.
That's right. You need a sample.
I feel like these are like the Japanese equivalents of fantasy names.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Again, people who know more, tell me in the comments.
I don't know if there's specific relevance to the name. Dogs have a tendency to chase fast-moving objects.
No, I didn't say that they had relevance. I was saying that it's like a fancy name, as in it's not a real name that you would expect to see in normal
That's
people.
fair. Oh no, Melt's going now. Oh, that's not good.
Melto's going down.
You're getting to be a little trouble. Everybody's looking pretty wiped. Looking like me after pulling an all-nighter on a paper.
Yeah, he's not doing. Oh my.
Oh,
he's
that's
thinking
right.
if he kills her, he'll save his brother.
It is an option.
We still don't know if that'll end with poison, though.
People who abandon puppies. You become a murderer and you'll become no better than a puppy abandoner.
Did you hear about the lady who actually did abandon puppies recently?
Yeah, I think I told you about that.
Oh, I also just heard about it on the news program.
Yeah. It's like newborn puppies in like a dumpster or something.
Yeah.
She's a terrible person.
A bag of 7 of them.
It's terrible.
Luckily, someone from the auto shop that was right next to the dumpster felt that she was skulking around strangely and checked and found them.
Yeah.
So they're okay.
Yeah, trust and co. Melto's going down, but Co still got a shot. Gamble. What do you need to do to get a sample of this thing? Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Both of you guys now? What is the deal with this poison, man? It's crazy.
I don't know if these guys are catching it from the others or if they're actually getting it from this Minosaur, but he hasn't bitten them, so
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
confused.
just keeps spreading somehow, which is crazy.
Perhaps it has an incubation period?
Something like that, I guess. Ooh! Good job. You don't like that.
If you run now, Tankjo's gonna get mad at me.
That's not good. Yeah, we gotta deal with this antidote, however that works. You got the tooth.
Yeah,
The
but
whole tooth and nothing but the
he's
tooth.
in bad shape though, because he just got directly bit.
Yeah, oof. They are not doing great. We could really use like a mysterious helper now. That would be useful.
Whatchamacallit's dad? Does he have a car by any chance?
Yeah. What? Oh.
Mr. Tatsui, do you have a car? Because as far as I know, the only member of the allied cast who's not come down with this is Mr. Tatsui.
Yeah, very much.
Which is good, because he's probably going to have to formulate the...
Is he giving him a piggyback ride? Oh, is Mel giving him a piggyback? Oh, is it Tiramigo? Tiramigo's giving them a piggyback ride. I don't know how he managed that with his tiny arms that don't even have fingers, but thank you, Tiramigo. Okay. Food cart.
Look at the front of his car.
Interesting. Oh, is that the Elder? Does the Elder run a shawarma cart? What? Kebabs. He's got a kebab mobile. Wow.
He opened a kebab cart because the village is destroyed.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
He's got magic.
I know, but he's using a coffee corral, and that just makes it hilarious.
It's all very strange. Alright, here you go. A little for you, a little for you. This is all very strange. All very glowy. Now you gotta get that to the others. Assuming there's enough to go around. There you go. Interesting. It looked like he had poured out the whole thing, but I guess not. Or it's magic.
I'm gonna go with its magic.
I'm gonna go with magic.
Now the earth is mine. That's a little bit, you know, ahead of time.
Well, now he's got... Well, it's got two of them this time. Alright.
Power!
Ooh. Oh, that's fun.
They're all mixed up.
Yep.
Group conga!
Yeah, big group conga, that's all it's for. Whoosh! Knight of Valor! You're so red. Knight of Wisdom. Oh, there we go.
Chikate pata rushido!
Yeah, they're going. Amigo time. Let's get all the Kishiryu out here.
I was I was attempting to, because you were saying you were having problems with the pacing of the rhythm.
Yeah. Sentai Ryusoulger.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Our souls are one. Nice. I like the giant Ryu souls.
Yeah! Whee! Are we getting a 5-way combo finally?
I think we're getting the full combo.
Because we've done pink and blue on red, and we've done black on red, and we've done green on red.
Yeah.
But I believe this is the first time we're getting a 5-way combo.
Yep.
I'm psyched. Are you psyched? I'm psyched.
There we go. Oh, nice. We got sword and shield.
Impressive.
I like the sword and shield. So we've got Mere Needle forms the shield with Tiramigo's head. Tiger Lance forms the sword. And we've got, it looks like Triton and Ankyros are forming the shoulders.
I keep Googling. There is not yet that I have been able to find a Kirion plush or figure.
There we go.
I might have to make my own plushie.
Now where'd Cerberus go? Whoosh!
I bet I could do it. Do a mock-up with muslin.
Yeah.
Then take the muslin apart, go over the seams. Same way I did for my cosplay. Or the jacket of my
Oh man,
cosplay.
hopping off a oof, what's happening? Did it land on the sword? Is that how what happened?
I think so.
Ouch. Oh, she's
Finally.
better now.
Hey, you're looking pretty well.
I
Oh, that's right. She
assume-
drank the antidote.
Presumably.
Not her. I mean, Yui must have drank the antidote.
Have some soy milk.
I have a feeling this guy is like the dad from My Big Fat Greek Wedding
Yeah.
with Windex, only this guy is soy milk.
Did that guy say have some Windex?
No, but everything that ails you, he said, you put some Windex on it. So every time someone's been sick, he's handed them soy milk.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm saying, I believe he may think that soy milk has curative properties.
Fair enough.
And it would be an irrational belief since it's just an ordinary food. Kind of like some people think chicken soup is particularly good.
The whole thing with earthquake energy for Tankjo is just so strange because it was like one earthquake and he just apparently gets to keep reusing this earthquake energy.
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. They summoned the power of like 5 different iterations of Dino Knight formation.
I mean,
And there
I'm not
goes
saying
Tankjo.
chicken soup isn't good. I'm just saying that if you could stomach it,
I mean, soy milk is probably good for giving you some protein.
that's what I'm saying. It's good in
blood
that
sugar.
sort of way, but it's not.
Well, I mean, she's clearly already better, so probably just to give her some energy. Oh, that doesn't sound good.
The thing about chicken soup, though, is that it goes down pretty easy when you're nauseous. Chicken broth is just, it has that taste.
Oh, Kirion's like, oh, the city's going down. I want to get out of here. Inflate soul? What? What?
I feel like that's going to be a pink balloon.
I feel like it's going to turn... It's shaped like a balloon animal. And I think that's what they're... Yep, they just... they just inflated him so that.
Did they just Aunt Marge him?
That's from Harry Potter, right? Yeah, that's what they did.
They just Aunt Marged him into orbit.
They turned him into Wayne Knight from Space Jam.
And blew him up.
Yep. That's a cool shot at the end there. I like that sort of fish, kind of, almost a bit of a fisheye with the swirling, with the sweep of the clouds.
Sorry I made you save Tella.
Yeah.
Thank you is more appropriate.
So that's it for Tankjo.
You didn't.
It's like, yeah, come on, you guys should be friends now. Come on.
Oh, for Pete's sake!
But you're allies? Come on, say something. Alright, so I feel like we've now kind of concluded this opening arc of 6 episodes of, introducing them discovering Green and Black and getting to work with them and defeating Tankjo. And you're better off remembering him how he was. Oh, here he is now. That's nice.
I mean, since their masters are gone.
Hey, Allie. You're a good dancer. You're a good dancer.
I can't believe he crawled into your lap while we were dancing.
I know. Okay, looks like we're getting our new Druidon.
We'll find my younger sister.
Princess of Planet
Kepius.
Kepius? I don't know what that is. Interesting.
Kepius or Sepius?
I'm
It's a
guessing.
C. It could be a hard C or a soft C.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it could be Cepheus. Cepheus, like Cephalosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus, maybe. I don't know if that's a thing they're going to be getting, but that
You
seems
used to run away every time somebody clapped.
And then you come up and you crawl out right on my lap.
While we're in the middle of doing do 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 do.
But yeah, no, I like that little thing from the elder where
that was so touching because like
you leave a young man
away for 3 days and you won't recognize him.
That was a nice little thing.
It's
to sort of close out this 6-episode arc.
It's also nice that they still have someone kind of looking out for them.
Yeah.
Because they've lost their masters.
Yeah.
Presumably, since the whole village was destroyed and the elder seems to be the only survivor, they probably lost whatever family they had as well.
Yeah.
Like parents. So he is their...
Oh, you want to go to MJ over there?
Parental figure at this point, aside from Mr. Tsutsui.
Yeah. There we go.
Hiya.
He wants all the attention right now.
Hiya, good boy.
He's a little dance machine. But yeah, it's been...
If they hadn't have found the Elder, how was Mr. Tetsuya going to make medicine?
I don't know. With his super paleontology powers.
He's a paleontologist. That's what he is, that's what he is, that's what he is.
Which apparently means knowing how to cure magic poison. Remember, kids, if your dog bite starts to glow, go consult a paleontologist. But yeah, you know, this is we've now officially, I'd say, concluded our introductory arc.
I think when you make the full Megazord, that's when you've completed the intro arc.
Well, you've completed in this case we've assembled the full Megazord.
Okay, that's not for eating.
We've assembled the full team. We've defeated the starter boss.
Yeah.
You know, those are the big things that we were looking for this intro arc.
We've collected all three stones and tried to pull the sword out of the temple.
This is the Ocarina and Onward pattern of Zelda.
Yeah, where you have to collect 3 widgets, and in the process of collecting your 3 widgets, you set off the whole rest of the plot, and then have to collect like 7 more.
One of these days, I'm gonna finish a non-NES Zelda game. I haven't actually finished a Zelda game since Link's Adventure, or whatever the second one was.
I've gotten up to the final boss of both Ocarina and Majora.
Yeah.
But that was back when I was much younger and I had a much higher anxiety level. And to tell you the truth, I was actually terrified of the bosses, so I could not bring myself to fight them.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, I do still want to actually finish Twilight Princess at some point, because we've had that
and I got
for like the last
Ocarina for my 3DS.
13 years. Yeah.
Because I want to redo it so that I can finish it. I have Majora as well.
Yeah.
I want to finish both
Well,
of
I
them.
know we have
I
Ocarina
came
on
so
the Wii,
close.
too.
We do have Ocarina on the Wii, but...
Because you wanted to introduce me to it. And
we
then
so
I never
seldom get around to... The thing of it is,
Yeah.
we so seldom use a console.
Yeah. Well, I don't really game much, outside of just, like, little puzzles.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
Well, and your Mega Man.
Yeah, and even that's only occasionally.
Right.
Like I played it
Well,
around
that's why I
the
got
holidays
you.
mostly.
That's why I got you a cheap refurb DS.
Yeah.
Because I knew you weren't going to use it very often.
Yeah. It's got a Mega Man on it.
I got a decal for him.
I like Mega Man.
The only game he owns is Mega Man.
Yeah. Well, it's a Mega Man collection.
It is. It's the Mega. It's like
Mega
the
Man
first
like
7
one.
Mega Mans.
I think it's the first 6.
First 6 Mega Mans. So it's just your little Mega Man.
And then we've got like 9 and 10 on the Wii. I still need to finish
my
that.
3DS, I actually have quite a few games, and I use that fairly often. Yeah. But we don't use the console anymore, which is actually why I think the Switch is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, with it being a hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
The thing is I don't play often enough to justify getting another
I'm not
console.
a fan. We've played the Switch at a friend's place. I'm not a fan of the little Joy-Cons. They're too small to use comfortably.
Well, you're supposed to be able to use the tiny ones separately, but also put them together.
Well, yeah, I know.
Have you seen what they're like when you put them together?
Yeah, together seems fine, but
Yeah.
individually they're too tiny, in my opinion, to really work well.
That makes sense.
It's just not comfortable.
And that's why they have a lot of different options for doodads to slide your little 2 pieces into and make more.
Like the Wiimotes, when those first came out, it always seemed like, you know, when you used it horizontally, it seemed pretty small, and that's about as small as I think is comfortable.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just like they're so tiny.
I actually don't have a problem with it, but I have.
You have slightly smaller hands than I do.
I have slightly smaller hands, although
and
my
better
fingers are quite
you have
long.
better dexterity.
I was going to say, I have better fine motor dexterity.
I can't do the double thumb texting.
Which is funny, because I had bad fine motor dexterity as a kid, so the reason I have such good fine motor dexterity now is because
Because you worked on it?
Well, I didn't, not by myself.
Hmm.
You know, I had to go see a person at the library like once a week.
Yeah.
The whole time when I was a kid, because I had atrocious penmanship. So
Well,
I would just copy the alphabet over and over again to get my penmanship down, and so I got very good at fine motor detail.
Well, I did speech therapy when I was a kid. I always used to slur my words. And if I'm
overexcited, you still do.
Well, I don't know if I'd say over. I don't know if I'd say I do when I'm overexcited. It's more so, honestly, when I'm low energy, is when I'm more likely to slur.
Okay, when I say overexcited, I mean like when you're,
When I'm overexcited, I'm motor mouth, but I still articulate pretty well, I think.
It depends on whether you're overexcited in a happy way or an upset way.
Well, that's a different. That I don't think that.
I was trying not to go there with that, but
okay.
Yeah, no. When you get upset, you slur.
Well, that's because my voice loses a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Hence, overexcited is not the right.
Well,
word,
I wasn't
say.
talking about like melancholy. I was talking about like, I can't believe this happened.
Okay,
So
yeah, if I'm like distraught or something.
This is so stupid.
Yeah.
It's usually this is so stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I developed a lot of good clarity and public speaking skills over the course of that.
As a result of that, yeah.
And
I
just
mean,
a ton
and to
of
be
feedback.
fair, a lot of the things that you say that about are so stupid.
Yeah. But getting away from all that, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this arc, because I know we just ran through somehow. We segued from intro arc to Zelda to gaming to Findex.
Because I was saying they've completed the young Link.
Yeah, exactly. So this is.
Sorry, they look especially.
Well, yeah, they're also very.
Looks like
very
he came
similar
out of
to
a Zelda game.
They're the Zelda aesthetic, yeah. But regarding this intro arc, one thing that's felt a little strange about it is it simultaneously felt rushed, but not actually that much really was happening. Like, when you get right down to it, if we were to compare it directly to a recent Sentai series with an introductory arc, the one that most readily comes to mind is Q Ranger. Q Ranger, across the course of 5 episodes, not 6, introduced 9 Rangers as opposed to 5, and defeated their starter boss. And that felt like it was much better paced, and we got a much better feel for the characters across that course of 5 episodes than we did here across that course of 6.
Well, I think the action was at a reasonable pace, but the characterization was rushed. It was like character development was happening at a faster speed than it really ought to.
You're referring to with this arc?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is interesting when you bring it back to what the elders said at the end.
Yeah, they went through very quick development, and it didn't feel very natural.
No, it didn't.
And very well focused upon.
Mm-mm.
And I think part of that is because during the course of this, sort of 6-episode intro arc, we've been very focused on the monster of the day as our driving plot each week. Even this one where it was stretched out across 2 episodes. Like, Tankjo was our starter villain, and we really didn't get to know him that well. And, we defeated him last week, and then we defeated him again this week.
You know what he reminds me of a little?
Not that much change between the two.
The Raiders from Babylon 5.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they were just there.
Yeah.
You never really got in depth with them.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just there to be an antagonist during the setting of the story. And when I say setting, I don't mean the location. I mean when you break your story up into setting, rising action, complication, climax, denouement. So during the setting portion, they had sort of a throwaway villain, and Tankjo feels very disposable in that way. He feels very throwaway.
He was not well developed. He didn't have a very clear mission outside of I'm going to be the one to rule the world, and you never believed that he was going to be the big
Oh, like I
the
mentioned
big
last
kahuna.
time, I felt for the first few episodes.
You
I
forgot
felt
there were only two villains.
that they weren't working for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're working off this chess motif in the way that I kind of predicted, and it looks like next week we'll be meeting the knight, or maybe the bishop. I'm not quite sure. I couldn't quite see his design very well, but I'm assuming that he will be the knight motif character,
Yeah,
just
because
as
he would go
Tankjo was the
inwards
rook.
of the chessboard. So
Yeah.
if you start with the rook on the outside, the knight,
The knight would be next. That feels like the next logical point.
And I'm agreeing, yeah.
But if you were to compare, for instance, Tankjo to Airdrone,
Well, Airdrone was much better developed.
well, Airdrone, I wouldn't say he was really that developed. It's more so that he had, well, I guess you could say he didn't have that much of a personality. I think Tankjo had, this kind of big boisterous bruiser personality, and he was tied in closely with their origins by virtue of taking out one of the masters.
Yes.
Those are both, impactful character traits.
Mm-hmm.
Airdrone, he was the guy who was recruited to go after these people, and he didn't necessarily have any deep connections to their origin. He didn't have any real impact on the plot outside of being the guy going after them, and all he really, even his personality was pretty flat. Really, he was just the guy sent to do the job. But even within that, he was still manipulative, working with Stinger.
And the thing of it is that since he had that whole, even that, being the guy who was sent to get them, still had more of a story to it than Tankjo showing up and I'm going to run the world.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by better developed.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Aerodron was better developed than someone.
Which is so weird.
How do you manage to develop someone less than that? I don't know. That's how you get Tankjo.
Tankjo is kind of our creepbox a little bit.
Yeah.
I liked him in certain regards. Like, he was a big boisterous guy. He had I just liked the name Tankjo. He had a fun design.
The whole couch is bouncing.
And I would have actually, I think, enjoyed seeing him working for somebody and being...
Yeah, he would have made a great dragon.
Yeah, he seems like somebody who'd be like the general who just wants to go out and get in there and, just enjoys fighting and needs to be reined back by his boss. But no, he was the boss. There was no one reining him back, and there was really nothing stopping him from just... He was the one who would go and fight the Rangers, and then he'd leave. He wasn't really that driven to defeat them himself.
No.
Until the last two episodes where...
And as much as he's subordinate to Tankjo, Kirion has actually been, once again, much better developed.
Yeah, exactly. Tankjo, although
Kirion decided to have a YouTube channel.
Which is great. Tankjo, although he was established as a threat in the first episode by virtue of taking out one of the masters, he took out the master while the master was didn't have access to his powers.
Yeah.
And the whole...
That's kind of cheating.
wanting revenge thing didn't kick in until Tankjo's penultimate episode.
And then it was like, is this new information?
It was just suddenly ramped up.
Why are you acting like this is new information?
And Tankjo was defeated pretty straightforwardly in the last episode, and then just defeated again in this episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
He never, outside of that initial taking out the master, he never felt like really that much of a threat.
No.
He never forced the Rangers into a retreat.
Never.
And then, meanwhile, you compare, for instance, Erdogan, who, when he showed up for the first time, the Rangers were like, we gotta get out of here. Because he would unleash those arrows.
We are leaving now.
And so when the 9 of them came together at the end of the 5th episode to defeat him, it felt like a real accomplishment.
Right. And it took all 9 of them.
It took all 9 of them. And in this case, it did take all 5 of them to finally defeat Tankjo, but it only took 4 of them to defeat him the last time.
Yeah.
So it felt like it didn't feel like a very organic
And then they turned him
arc.
into Aunt Marge and kicked him into orbit.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it to them for
animal. Okay, I haven't
for fun.
seen.
They've got fun, creative Zord fights, but
I haven't seen this many wacky finishers since earlier today when we watched Tokyuger.
Tokyuger does have a lot of wacky finishers. None of those finishers. If Tokyuger ever gets adapted, none of those finishers are making it over. They're just gonna composite it in a giant explosion instead. But yeah, so that was not really an organic arc for him.
Give it up, Oliver. We vacuumed in there.
And then you look at, oh yeah, we got a new vacuum today. I'm very proud of myself for going out and buying a vacuum today.
Yes, Jake's very proud of himself.
It's one of those little pieces of adulthood where it's like, we need an appliance. I'm going to go out and buy an appliance. That's an adult thing to do. You go out and you buy an appliance that you intend to use for an extended period of time. Years.
We did get the washer and dryer.
True. And that was also an accomplishment. And you were very proud of yourself on that washer and dryer.
I was very proud of myself.
So I think I get to be proud of myself on the vacuum.
The old vacuum died.
Yeah, it did.
I think I'm a little less proud of the vacuum because I've had a vacuum
Well, yeah, but
for decades now, but I didn't previously own my own washer and dryer.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
replacing something is less exciting than getting something you've never had before.
That's true.
That being said, the orange cat is sniffing around the floor because he likes to eat small objects.
But we
we just vacuumed in there.
We picked out our this one as opposed to receiving it as a gift.
That's
which
true.
was so we picked out and bought her new vacuum cleaner. Anyway, I'm sure you're enthralled by that.
The only point was Orange Cat's not going to find anything to eat on that floor.
That's true. So I'm thinking through with this arc outside of
He tries to eat everything. He was trying to eat my phone earlier in the video.
the epic of Tankjo, who that name is still just going to be great forever. We were trying to develop our rangers and our supporting cast, and again, things felt rushed. Like we were introduced to Yui.
Yes.
In the first episode.
The whole becoming members of the Tatsui family overnight thing was very rushed.
Yeah, that happened by the 3rd episode, which is crazy.
It's bonkers.
It was literally, we meet this person, we give her every reason to believe that we intend to bash her head in. The next episode, she offers them a place to live, and then the following episode, they're all family.
Yeah.
That was incredibly rushed development. Without...
Mind wiper.
I love the Mind Wiper. That thing was great. And I can't believe that we...
I still want to know if it was a magic hammer or if he was just going to cave his skull
We'll never know. We will never know. But yeah, it was just, again, not a smooth development. There was no big bonding moment outside of, I'm offering you a place to live. And then the whole thing with her trying to kill herself.
So they lived in a completely separate world, which in all likelihood, if it even had a currency, used a completely different currency.
Yeah.
So it was very lucky that they found their way into the Tatsui household. But it does beg the question, where did the elder get the money for a kebab truck?
I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. It's a magic kebab truck. It's secretly a cat bus. Which to be fair, would not be unique in the history of Sentai.
Secret cat buses?
Yes. Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger, which became Alien Rangers, they drove around in what I believe they used it as a food truck, I think. But it was a cat bus. I believe it was a flying cat bus. I have not seen Kaku Ranger. I only know a little bit of. No, I've seen like the first episode or two of Kaku Ranger when it was streaming on.
So it was alive.
I believe so.
Because a cat bus is alive.
I believe so. I'd be very amused if the kebab truck was somehow a cat bus.
Pardon us, we've just gone into My Neighbor Totoro now.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a good movie.
But yeah, like, we've gotten virtually no development on Melt, though. Barely anything on Asuna. Melto, yeah.
We just no development on Melt, though.
Fair enough.
It's Melto.
I've also seen it written as Melt, so I keep jumping around in my head.
Well, it's probably written as Melt by some people because a lot of the times when you have loan words, like if they'd stolen the word melt, if they actually mean melt, like from the English language, then it would still be said melto.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they stick an extra vowel on there. But I think his name is actually Melto, in the same name that the other guy's name is Bamba, in that it is not a loan word. It's just a name they made up.
Fair
that
enough.
happens to sound similar to.
But yeah,
Because I feel
Melto
like
and
they made up
and
those...
Asuna don't really have much development.
I feel like they made up those names in a sort of Frodo way.
Yeah.
Like, nobody in English... No, Frodo is not an English-speaking name, but you just made that up, you know?
I mean,
Bilbo.
when you get right down to it, what do we know? What do we know about these characters that we didn't know from their introduction?
We don't know anything about any of them.
Exactly.
That we didn't know from their introduction. I know you're focusing on Asuna and Melton.
No, I'm referring. I'm now making a blanket statement on all of them.
We don't know anything more about. No, wait, that's not true. We know one thing.
What's that?
About Bamba and
Toa. Yeah.
And that's that they have some kind of something in their history.
Something with their family happened.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's with their family. We don't know what it was. All we know is it was enough to stay Bamba's hand because family is the most important thing. And the way he was talking to the father really implied that something very unfortunate happened to their family and they're not over it.
We've teased backstory. Well, we've teased backstory on Bamba and Toa from even before their introduction when it was like there was a reason they left.
So, but that is from, I'm going to say everything from before their introduction. You said...
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. That is the one bit that we've gotten since their introduction.
Since an introduction.
Like, apart from that, we know that they trained with their masters and they loved their masters. And that
is about it.
That was something we could tell from the first moment of meeting them.
Yeah.
So... It's felt like this arc has been a bit uneven and not really well focused. Outside of just throwing a bunch of souls at you and establishing a mind source.
So many souls!
Like, and that's another thing where there's so many of them, they have no real impact outside of just novelty.
There have got to be already at this point, 6 episodes in, gachapon machines all over Japan full of souls.
I feel like we've seen 20 souls already in the last 6 episodes.
Which, this is why I'm like, they're making all these tiny dudes. This is gachapon thing.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a gachapon thing.
I mean, they never made a big deal of... in the early run in the first 5 episodes of Q Ranger, they didn't really make a big deal of, finding the new Q-Tama.
Q-Tama, Tama, Q.
But they had kind of established that there were certain limiters to an extent, in that there were 88 constellations, 88 Q-Tama, and they've collected Q-Tama from going from one constellation to another, and so there were some they had, some they didn't, some they were looking for, some that were needed for a given situation. And meanwhile, with here, we don't know where they're getting all these Ryu souls from. We don't know how many more they have. We don't know if there's any limit to them. And also, physically speaking, the Ryusouls themselves aren't really that different from one another.
No, they're really not.
They mostly look pretty similar to each other, with the primary thing being whenever it's a Ryusoul that gives them armor, the armor looks a little different, and the armors have been fun.
Yup! They're gachapon!
But yeah, are you, like, looking at Ryusouls now and, like, can you tell the difference between these things?
Some of them are... Well, they actually do have different little arms on them.
They have just little subtle differences?
No, the arms actually look like the arms that they become on the people.
Oh, okay.
The upward pointing arms...
Oh, interesting.
...are actually that way. The body and the shield are all the same shape, but the arm in question... actually looks like the arm in question. Now, that being said, apparently,
Cause
these are gashapon, so there are already a dozen different gashapon out there.
Yeah.
There's Ryusouls 01 and Ryusouls 02 if you want to buy the collection rather than actually trying to get them out of the machine. But
take a quick look at that.
I looked it up. Yes, they're already in gashapon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get a feel for these Ryusouls because there's just so many of them and they all look so similar, and I don't know what to necessarily be looking for what the differentiation, the different things about them are outside of they're obviously different colors. But yeah, I guess each one does have its own little different looking weapon, and then when it closes, makes a different dino head. Those they go by so quick. I can't.
I didn't realize they were
differentiate
making different heads.
and they're different colors. But yeah, so much stuff has been feeling rushed without feeling like there's a lot happening, and it's been a little bit of a frustration. We're enjoying a lot of the.
There were mini.
Little gachapons for the.
Little looping devices.
For the
Oh, and there's the ones for this.
Yeah, for the.
For Ryusoulger.
Trigger machines and dial fighters.
Yeah, but those are like miniature ones, as opposed to. I'm pretty sure these Ryusoul gachapon may actually be compatible with the morphers.
Oh, that'd be interesting. So, yeah, I'm not feeling as like so far. I haven't felt like Ryusoulger is as strong as our last two Sentai series that we've watched together. I don't feel like has had as much of an impact in its first handful of episodes as Ryusoulger, or as Ryusoulger's the one we're talking about, as Q Ranger or Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger, where Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger had a really fun dynamic to it. Like we were at this point, we were already into, just Monster of the Day, and we felt like we weren't in any particular arc last year. And this one's a little weird because they are attempting to have an arc meshed with the Monster of the Day structure in such a way that the Monster of the Day is taking prominence over the arc, and the arc is feeling underdeveloped and rushed, despite taking a little bit longer than the intro arc of Q Ranger. And it's really a similar issue to what I saw, actually, ironically, with Dino Supercharge, which was the last Dino season that we watched of Power Rangers, where Dino Supercharge, actually a lot of stuff was happening in the arcs, but they would almost always focus on what felt like should be the B plot instead of the A plot.
Guess what else is in gachapon?
Yeah, Q-Tom, of course.
The ones that aren't associated with the Zord.
Right.
And also, I checked, Ranger Keys were in gachapons too.
Yeah, that's the whole idea of these things. There was also the Jidenshi, otherwise known as the Dino Chargers.
Oh yeah, I bet those were in gachapon as well.
Yeah, that's
not the original ones, but all the extras.
Same thing with the Reshes from Tokyuger, the little trains. I'm pretty sure those were gachapons.
Oh, yeah.
They had gachapon versions of those.
But what's interesting is that especially
Duo cubes.
this is very much like with the Ranger keys.
Yeah.
In that they are going all out to have as many possible varieties for people to collect as possible.
Yeah. And
Kyutama had a lot of them too, but like for example,
I will admit these do have
Lupin gachapons. There's only so many of those vehicles.
as much as I feel a little weird about the Ryusouls because the almost flippant way that they're used, and they're not really very well. They're not easy to differentiate in the show. The toys themselves actually do have quite a bit of variety with with everyone having that different mold and that different color, etc. And you could differentiate these to an extent more easily than Kyutama, which were just different in terms of the pattern and color, as opposed to the actual mold and sculpting. Same thing with the Judenchi. Again, that was just, the designs on there more so than the actual shape.
The dinosaur heads are only different in the top jaw.
Yeah.
So that's the arm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's different on each of them.
That's the one that makes the armament.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of getting into some nitty gritty things here with
the toys and the Ryusouls.
But this felt like a natural point at which to really sort
Actually, they wouldn't go in a morpher, would they? They would go in a sword.
Well, they also go in the morpher.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah, that's how they morph. They tuck them into the morpher and they do the little swing around.
You're right.
They go into both. Again, much like Judenchi or Kyutama.
Judenchi. Oh, the tiny trains.
No, those are the Reshas. Judenchi are Dino Chargers.
Oh, okay.
Dino Chargers, you could put them in the morpher. You could pop them into the Zords. And actually, the Ryusouls, I have to admit, the more that I actually think about it, the Ryusouls are actually very well designed as a toy.
The more you look at them, yeah.
Because they're like the Ranger keys, but their non-humanoid form is more has more variation.
Yes.
And they can go into, I feel like, a greater variety of things, because they can go into the Zords, they can go into the Morphers, and they can go into the weapons. And that's one of the more creative ways of using these sort of gachapon-style gimmicks, I think, compared to
that's kind of where I was going with it, because I'm sure the other stuff was in gachapons as well, but I feel like this was almost custom-made for it. Like, that was what they had in mind when they decided to do the Ryusouls. In the same way that I'm sure they have that in mind when they did the keys.
I just feel like they're not very well utilized in the show. Outside of some creative effects, it's just like, oh, now you have this. Okay.
Now your arm is a balloon animal.
Now you have this. Now you have that. It's just, it comes at you so fast and with so little fanfare that there's no focus on the toy so much as on whatever random thing is happening.
Yeah.
As a result of the toy. It's a little disorienting. So, yeah, I'm hoping that Ryusoulger finds its footing in terms of more of a story.
This point in Lupin Ranger, we weren't sure about them either.
Well, we were enjoying the back and forth. Because at this point they were going back and forth between Lupin Ranger episodes and Pattern Ranger episodes.
We were finding it very disjointed at the time.
A little bit, that's true.
So,
but
I think it's too early to say in any Sentai at 5 or 6 episodes.
Oh, fair enough. I felt like Q Ranger had a really strong first 5 episodes.
That's fair.
And I feel like they're trying to tell a story.
To Q Ranger now.
Well, honestly, Q Ranger was really good.
It was really good.
I really enjoyed it. I feel like they're trying to tell a story right now, but I feel like it's not coming across cleanly. That's the thing. I didn't feel like Lupat was trying to tell an arcing story.
No, it wasn't.
And it was clear that they weren't, and they were committing to their structure.
They were committing to being episodic, whereas this one you feel like is trying to go for an arc and failing.
It's trying to have it both ways, and I feel like it's kind of hamstringing both.
Pardon me.
Yeah, we should be wrapping things up. And I've been going around in circles a little bit. So, don't forget to tune in on 9
9
o'clock
on Saturday.
on Saturday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
Eastern Time.
For our, I guess, final Beast Morphers live stream before the hiatus.
Yeah, we think.
In all likelihood, we've seen no indication that we're going to be getting any more episodes before the hiatus.
Yeah.
And it feels like a natural. It's the end of April.
Yeah.
Feels like a natural stopping point.
So what we think will be that. All right.
Yep. And so don't forget that it will be at 9 o'clock instead of our usual 7. We look forward to seeing you guys there in the live stream. And until then, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. Gosh upon that Ryusou, everybody do the dinosaur.